Good morning, EWeb class. Good morning, Mr. Figueroa. Today, Monica, Priscila, Andrea, Marco and I are really delighted to interview an example of success and hard work from our generation. Our interviewee is 21 years old and studied at ITESO. He is the son of one of the De La Rosa owners, a famous Mexican candy company for which he started to work at the age of 15. 2 years ago, he decided to start up his own company, Patura, which sells food for animals, especially for exotic species. He is a successful entrepreneur who was studying while administrating many areas of his own company. Today with us is Ramiro Figueroa, who's talking about the beginning of his business and the difficulties he had to face as an entrepreneur. Furthermore, he's talking about, he's giving some advice for those who want to start up their own business.
Good afternoon, we're here today with Ramiro Figueroa. We're honored to interview him since he started an entrepreneur at an early age. Can we start knowing something about yourself?
Yes. I'm 21 years old. My name is Ramiro Figueroa. I'm starting at ITESO. I started my own business 2 years ago. I don't know.
Who's in your family? Do you have a mom?
Yeah, I have 5 brothers, 4 sisters and 1 brother, and my mother. That's it.
Where do you study?
I'm studying at ITESO.
Do you see your studies as an investment?
Yes, I think the study is really important. It's really difficult to be working and studying at the same time. But I think it's really important because sometimes when I'm studying, I see that something that is really important for my work.
Did you think you were going to be working this hard at an early age?
No. At the beginning, I thought that I will have the same life as all my partners of the school, high school. But my mother started to pick me with her to the work all the time, on vacations, weekends, and all the time that I have some free time, I became to work.
Where did you get the idea to sell animal food?
Well, one day I was in the factory with my family, and I started to see what they made with the garbage from the candies. So I started to make some formulas to make for cows.
Which was the harder part to start your own business?
My own business, well, it's really difficult to start because I made it by my own. I had the support from my family, but I made everything by my own. So I think that was really difficult.
Do you agree in how the Sagarpa implements the budget?
Well, for sell food, you must be with Sagarpa to have some requirements. And I have a veterinary from Sagarpa, and to say the truth, I never have a support from Sagarpa. I have to pay my veterinary, I have to pay my workers, it's really difficult for me.
Why did you decide to go with something bizarre as food for almost any animal?
The truth that at the beginning, I just want to sell food for cows or horses, but the same company, the same market, make me to sell for more animals because the clients, well, they say please send this kind of food.
What was your mother's reaction when you decided to leave the candy industry and begin with your new company, something very different from your family?
My mother was, I don't know, his reaction was really funny because she thought that I want to be on a chair like a boss, but to continue the factory of my family. But I decided to make something with my hand, by my own. So I think she's really proud for me.
Do you have some problems with your clients when you raise your prices of your products?
Yes, I have difficulties all the time they say, okay, I'm not going to pay you, or I don't want more food from you because your prices is going over. But at the last, they came.
And what other difficulties do you face when you start your own business?
For me, it was very difficult because I don't know nothing about the animals. I have to start to learn, to study, to go to some conferences from Zagarpa, and to go out of the cities, to go to the towns, to know more about the animals, the food, and the things. It was really, really difficult for me because I know about candies, know about food for animals, but now I like it.
What do you think are the most important skills that are required for setting up a business?
Well, I think you have to know what you want to do. Not to okay, I don't know, to sell toys, and the next day no, I don't want to sell toys. Now I want to sell, I don't know, animals, or the next I want to sell clothes. So I think if you start something, you must be there and finish it.
Can you tell us what's inside of your product?
Yes, and some of my products, or most of them, I use the leftovers and grains, and that's a really big advantage that I have for my other companies, that I can use the leftovers.
What kind of leftovers do you use in your product?
I use like peanuts, mazapan, as how you say, aceite,
Oil.
oil.
Oh, that's cool.
And what's the hardest task that you have to do in your company?
Well, I think the hardest thing that I have to do is everything, because I made everything. That's the difficult part.
So what do you like about your company or your job in the company?
I think it's a work that you must be moving all the time. You don't have to be on a chair sitting. You must be, I don't know, to go to over here, just then to another town, and just not be moving. So
That's the thing that you like the most
Yes.
in the company?
I think that because I'm not a really active guy, so I think that's why I like it.
Tell us about what you don't like about your job or your company.
Something that I don't like from my job or company is that the grains, the prices, go up and down all the days. So, for example, today the grain can be like 3 pesos and tomorrow 4 pesos. So just you have to be moving your prices all the time and talking with your clients.
Like explain the situation.
Yes.
Okay. And what about your working environment? Explain like how do you deal with problems inside your company or outside?
The thing is that I started to work at a really early age, but I started to work over everything. I was not the boss. I was not the son of the bosses. I don't have anything. So most of the Saturdays I go with my workers to take a beer. I make parties for them. So I think that has made a really nice environment. And if sometimes I need something from them, they are there because I think I have a really nice environment with them.
Perfect. And which strategies do you think you can implement to improve the efficiency of your employees?
How?
What do you think you can do to improve the efficiency of your employees?
As I tell her that all the time I'm working by the hand with my workers. I'm not on the office. I am with them all the time. And when I can, I go to take a beer with them. I talk with them, but like a friend.
So you try to interact
Yes.
with them.
Yes.
So what's the most difficult part of being the boss of the company?
My age.
Age.
My age is really difficult because the guys that I work, they are 40 years old, 60 years old. My workers have that age, and I'm 21. When I started, I was 19 years old. So for me to have a respect from them is really difficult because they say like he's a child.
And now considering this, would you rather be an employee than the boss of your company?
How?
Would you think that it's easier to work for someone rather than being the one saying what to do, how things are
It's
gonna
really
work?
difficult for me because that's something that you have to learn. You have to move all that number of people. Okay, you have to do that, you do that, and that things. For me, I was 19 years old, and it was difficult for me. Now I'm starting to learn how to do it.
Okay. Now tell us, what is more important to you right now, your studies or your work?
Well, I pay my studies, I pay everything for me. So for me it's more important the work because I think that's the education that my mother gave me, that first education. First the work, then the studies and the things. But I think it's really important to study.
And how do you deal with time, having to study and work? How do you manage doing all of that?
Well, I think that you must have a balance between have fun, between the studying and between the work. For me, I tell you, it's more important the work. So I have my time to work, then I have to go to school, and I have my hours from school. But sometimes I have to get out from school to go working, and sometimes I have fun and I have to go out for working. So it's a balance that I think you have to know how to do it.
And can you give us some of the advices to the people who are watching this interview about how to start their own business while they are studying as well?
Well, I think that if you want to start your own business, first you want to know if you want to do that all your life, because there are some business that can give you a lot of money, but if you don't like it, you're not going to be happy with it. And I tell you, sometimes I'm having fun with my friends and I must leave it to work. So I think if I don't like my job, I will leave it. But it's a work that I really like.
So you recommend us to choose a business in which you enjoy what you're doing?
Yes, it's really important.
We have two last questions. First of all, tell me, do you have any goals for you in your life when we're talking about the job and the school? What's your main goal right now?
My goal?
Like, what do you want to achieve with all this hard work and everything?
Well, I think I like to work. That's my education. I like to work, and when I'm working, I'm proud of me, and I don't know, I enjoy it. I enjoy to be working.
Tell me a strength that you can see, like something good for you about working.
Well, I pay all my things, so I think that's something that make proud for my family. That sometimes I can help my mother with money that she don't need it, but I like to do it and she like it too. That sometimes I sell things that I might, but to grow up on my own business.
Okay, that's very interesting.
Thank you, Ramiro Figueroa, for this interview. I hope you guys have learned from this interview the importance of dividing our time between our life studying and our life outside of it. How a young man of our age can start his own business just by the experience of working at a very young age. I want to thank you for watching this video. Have a great day.